From the Universal Tarot. 4. The Emperor. Unlike the Empress on her cushioned chaise, the Emperor rules from a massive throne made of granite. He is not concerned with comfort. What matters most to him is longevity. The Emperor builds things to last, and once everything is stable and prosperous within his realm, he looks for new worlds to conquer. The mountains symbolize both stability and the aspirations of power. In his right hand the Emperor holds a scepter in the shape of the Egyptian Ankh, symbol of eternal life. The ancient Egyptians planned for their lives beyond the mortal plane, building tombs as magnificent as their cities and temples. The Emperor's Ankh indicates that he is concerned about more than just his own lifetime. He cares for future generations and for his own legacy as a wise ruler. He wears armor on his shoulders, symbolizing the strength needed to push through obstacles. This strength and obstinacy is symbolized again in the ram's head that adorns his throne. The ram is a sacrificial animal, a reminder that great power has a price. Universal message. Structure gives stability and longevity to creative impulses, but too much control limits growth. Rule your empire well so that it can expand. From the Initiatory Tarot of the Golden Dawn. The Emperor. The fourth key, the 15th path. The magical title of this card is Son of the Morning, Chief among the Mighty. The path of the Emperor connects Tifereth, the son, to Chokmah, the father. It is the wisdom of sovereignty and beauty, and the originator of them, the sphere of the zodiac acting through Aries upon the sun and initiating spring. It is a very masculine path from all outside appearances. But in fact, the male Aries energy is guided by Bina, which is read in Atziluth. The Emperor takes the manifesting energy from the Empress and passes it down to the higher self of the individual. The Emperor and the Empress together function almost as animus and anima. Because Aries is ruled by Mars, this card symbolizes tremendous creative energy on one hand and rulership on the other. Of course, Aries is the sign which signals the return of spring when life reemerges and growth begins. The notion of spring and the cycle of rebirth is a feminine function. Het, the Hebrew letter attributed to this card, is distinctly feminine and in fact signifies the mother. The energy of the Emperor is the virile, stimulating force which initiates spring. Therefore, the masculine and feminine energies are totally balanced in this seemingly all-male card. It is an example of the idea that every symbol contains its own opposite, thus producing a balance of forces. The Emperor has been a warrior king in the past, but he has put down the sword and taken up the wand. The ram-headed wand is used to invoke the forces of manifestation, and the ram of Aries is at his feet. The Emperor holds a golden orb, Tifereth, surmounted by the cross, to show that he holds absolute rule over his kingdom. Interpretation in a tarot reading. War, conquest, victory, strife, ambition. From the Science Tarot. Crystallization, the Emperor. Free-floating molecules of sugar in a concentrated solution coalesce into perfect order as they bond together, assembling into a lattice and forming a solid crystalline structure. The dazzling crystals found in our world, from rock candy to diamonds, remind us of the power and beauty that can be formed by following rigid rules under the proper conditions. Leading civilization can bring stability, but becoming a strong leader demands discipline and personal responsibility. The emperor represents the power to form a precisely ordered structure from a shapeless mass of disconnected parts. Ultimately, this power is found within each of us, uniting our scattered energies toward a common purpose and offering a brilliant example to inspire the world. From the Tarot of Shadows, Arcana 4, Lucifer. This is the story of Lucifer, the beautiful morning star, wandering in Eden and shining like 1,000 brilliants. Lucifer, son of the morning star, was the closest associate of the Lord. Like other angels, he was created in the far past. God made him perfect, pure in goodness and beautiful. Righteous and holy, he was superior to all the celestial inhabitants in power and glory. Lucifer was aware of his talents, even if everything he had was given by the Lord. Eventually, he started glorifying the gifts he received from God. In his arrogance, he tried to stand equal to him. He came to the false conclusion that he could equally rule the celestial kingdom, thus he could also participate in the implementation of plans for the universe. He forgot that, being a created matter, he does not possess the ability to bear the wisdom of the infinite. Ultimately, he decided to call other heavenly angels for a revolt. Initially, Lucifer concealed his desire for power under a veil of apparently noble motives. The angels were not able to fully understand Lucifer's true purpose and perceive the lies in his seductive words. Finally, Lucifer declared his true intentions. I have decided that I would take the sacred duty which has long should be assigned to me. I'll lead those who follow me and manifest their obedience to me. After his betrayal, God could no longer trust him. Lucifer, the light bearer, the shining angel, turned into Satan, the liar, the devil. The ousted Lucifer was no more an angel. He received a new name, Satan, and a new home, hell. Those angels fallen with him became demons. Later on, Satan and his associates found their new purpose, to seduce and corrupt humans. And it so turned out they found more than enough people who were too sinful and foolish to resist the temptation. God turned his glory and beauty into ugliness. Card meaning. 1. Destructive emotions and desires. Pride, imperiousness, desire for revenge, rage if something goes against the plan, perpetual dissatisfaction, unjustified stubbornness, desire to achieve goals by all means, hurried decisions, insubordination, rebelliousness, impatience. 2. A strong personality, a reformer, a cold-blooded careerist, a person that knows his or her own mind, the power of logic and intellect, boundless talent, a high position in society, dominion, domination of the world, fearlessness. From the Osho Zen Tarot, 4. The Rebel. The powerful and authoritative figure in this card is clearly the master of his own destiny. On his shoulder is an emblem of the sun, and the torch he holds in his right hand symbolizes the light of his own hard-won truth. Whether he is wealthy or poor, the rebel is really an emperor because he has broken the chains of society's repressive conditioning and opinions. He has formed himself by embracing all the colors of the rainbow, emerging from the dark and formless roots of his unconscious past and growing wings to fly into the sky. His very way of being is rebellious, not because he is fighting against anybody or anything, but because he has discovered his own true nature and is determined to live in accordance with it. The eagle is his spirit animal, a messenger between earth and sky. The rebel challenges us to be courageous enough to take responsibility for who we are and to live our truth. People are afraid, very much afraid of those who know themselves. They have a certain power, a certain aura, and a certain magnetism, a charisma that can take out alive young people from the traditional imprisonment. The enlightened man cannot be enslaved. That is the difficulty, and he cannot be imprisoned. Every genius who has known something of the inner is bound to be a little difficult to be absorbed. He is going to be an upsetting force. The masses don't want to be disturbed, even though they may be in misery. They are in misery, but they are accustomed to the misery. And anybody who is not miserable looks like a stranger. The enlightened man is the greatest stranger in the world. He does not seem to belong to anybody. No organization confines him, no community, no society, no nation.